friends, welcome to Moonstar Lodge. I'm Kathryn Gorman, Lovelady. We are very excited about this new moon coming up tomorrow on May the 11th. And we're coming out of a time when, if you think back a couple of videos ago, at least the new moon videos, we were talking about Luxfar woman, who was the grandmother responsible for being the seer, the prophet, the one going into the future to see what is coming. And the grandmother whose moon cycle we're just leaving is a listening woman. So she took in all the stories retrieved by Luxfar woman. She has listened, she has processed, and now, as of tomorrow, May 11th, we're going into the cycle of storyteller. And she's the grandmother who has synthesized all this knowledge from the previous two grandmothers. And she's now going to share with us, in a good way, what it is that will help us in a more volatile moon cycle. In some ways it is, because we're moving into eclipse season. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let me explain who Storyteller is to you. For those of you who don't know the grandmothers of the medicine wheel, here is the medicine wheel, by the way. Let's have a look at that. So we're exactly halfway through the spring season. This is spring equinox. This is summer solstice, and we're halfway through. In a perfect year, this is where it would happen. So we're in the 6th moon cycle as of tomorrow at 2:59 p.m., at least in the latitude and longitude where I live here in central Ontario. So Storyteller is the guardian of the medicine stories, and for us, the word medicine equals a teaching. She is the keeper of Heyoka medicine, which is humor, and therefore she is the keeper of humor. She is the teacher who teaches without pointing a finger, the preserver of speaking from personal experience and truth. And she teaches us how to teach through telling stories which contain lessons. How to balance the sacredness with the irreverence, and how to use humor creatively. How to speak from our experience without judging others or being self-righteous. How to be a student in life as well as the teacher, preserving the wisdom gained. She teaches us how to speak the truth. I miss gatherings when I would get together with the elders and the knowledge keepers and the wisdom walkers, and the laughter and the humor and the joyousness into the wee hours, listening to my aunties going on, and the fun, because you absorb so much better than wagging fingers. I miss that about community, and I certainly enjoy it when I get back there. So in terms of solar astrology, as we move into this time, the planet Jupiter enters into Pisces. And what does that mean? Well, in solar astrology, that's all about abundance. Jupiter is the planet of abundance and prosperity and giving. And we haven't seen conditions like this for a long time. I can get for you the precise dates here that this happens, because the memory is good but not perfect. So let me read this to you. So the new moon, we're in the time of Taurus. So the new moon in Taurus arrives tomorrow at 2:59. And it's ushering in a lush and verdant fresh start. The last new moon before eclipse season, we're also heading into a Mercury retrograde. This is a very important time to work with these energies. Packed with the fertilizing powers of the earth sign and the fixed earth sign, the new moon in Taurus is an invitation we want to accept. I'm reading from Chani Nicholas's work here. This week also brings us Jupiter's entrance into Pisces, a profound shift for the planet of plenty. After spending the last 17 months in Saturn-ruled signs, the great benefic comes home. In Pisces, Jupiter is well equipped to usher in a season of splendor. Here, for a brief stint before a longer stay, Jupiter will only be in Pisces from May 13th to July 28th, not to return again until the very end of the year. Working with this grandmother can bring about some good rewards, as well as some much longed for abundance, because many of us have suffered in this pandemic from loss of income, loss of benefits, all kinds of losses. So this is a bit of a sigh or a breath of fresh air. So working with storyteller, I pulled some cards for today, and I was a little taken aback by the cards that came up. So I had to sit with them for a few minutes, which I think drives Brian nuts, because I'm sitting here analyzing and he's, not doing his film guy thing. But I really needed to understand where we are, where we're coming from and where we're going to. So all the cards from the Naked Tarot I used for the wheel are in positions of protection. And the first card that I pulled, the Six of Swords, this is Turtle, although it's in the protection position. It means it's a bit of a heart disconnect, and so it's asking us if what we are resisting either to do or move forward with is actually creating more of the same. It's causing a situation to persist by not dealing with it. Not making a choice is a choice. So if you want something to stop happening, you have to deal with it. So I moved to the south position on the medicine wheel, and as with the last few readings, Brian will give you a panoramic view of the lay of the cards. We have the Spirit of Cups. This is the same as the King of Cups. And this is again about an us and them. The heart disconnect sees separation. It's them guys over there, and I don't like them guys, and they're the cause of my problems. And it's an element of projection, really. So remembering that we need to be inclusive and remember that everybody is suffering. We cannot be reading into other people's motives and reading into other people's choices. We have to keep our own noses clean and think about what it is we're choosing, staying focused on this thing we are avoiding. In the west position on the wheel here, the card that came up was the Five of Pentacles. A lot of people have felt a loss, the loss I spoke of, and this card is usually meaning that what we have reaped, we aren't very happy with. And I talk a lot about manifesting. We have to be honest. Is the crap that I am focused on, am I perpetuating why it's manifesting? It's kind of the same thing as these other two cards are asking us. Where you focus, the energy flows. So we need to look at repeating cycles. Can you analyze an old cycle, which is talking really in a sense about karma, which brings us full circle. So the last message, again, a card in the reverse position, is justice. I hope this is in the right position, Brian. Justice. But justice is in reverse. Justice implies balance, implies the righting of things, setting something aright again. And the disconnect, is it possible that I am unfairly judging a situation with a narrow point of view, not allowing space for other possibilities? That's the intention of the author. Spirit is also saying to me that this is a very Libra concept. If you have Libra as your sign, Libra as your ascendant, as I do, we seek beauty, we seek to create harmony. We don't want polar opposites. And I'm getting very much a strong sense of where Libra is in this. I also pulled some cards from the same author to give me some balance. These are the magical cards that go with the Naked Heart. And so where we see this, we have the option of butterflies. We have the option of transforming it to make it move forward. Where we see a heart disconnect, lack of self-care, polarizing, we see the Ram steadying our thoughts, making us agile, nimble, expanding our thoughts. With what we're manifesting that's negative, we have Pillar. Think of the foundation. A house isn't built on the La Brea tar pits for a reason. We have to have a solid foundation. So when we are thinking, we have to understand why we are manifesting certain things. We have to put as much foresight into that as possible. And finally, with this reversed justice card, we have the bouquet. The bouquet is that sigh. So in the order that I pulled these cards, I pulled all the main positions on the wheel first, and then the magical support cards, that which gives us some additional insight. Then I pulled the shaman cards, the ancestor cards, and I had to go for angels. When I saw these cards, I went, whoa, oh dear, where are we going here? And instead of grabbing them and shuffling them, that's, to try and get better cards, you don't do that. You have to really think about and hold on to and own why you've pulled what you've pulled. So the Judith Pintar cards, which I've gone back to, I asked, these represent ancestors. The ancestors have said, this is the time to remember Great Spirit. I hope this is okay, Brian. This is the Great Spirit card, the circle, the ancients, the structure. This is going home in our minds, so to speak. Go back to what the ancestors have taught us. Go back to the 7 generations before. Our ancestors are always with us. We feel disconnected. So when you bring your heart center back to the Great Spirit, and you bring your heart center back to what your ancestors would tell you, having just had Mother's Day yesterday, this is an important lesson. we got to wipe clean all this negativity and all this us and them polarity and all this negative manifesting and all this imbalance of justice to a place of pure innocence. To sit in innocence is a new beginning. So if we go back to the Creator card, we're going to get a new beginning here, as if we are innocent. What's going to bring that? Stillness. If you really look at this card, this is a woman in the tree. She is part of the tree. That's how we move shamanically. And then what do we get from the tree? The same as the spring, all new beginnings. So the ancestors are telling us that this is new beginnings. It really is, kids. A couple of these cards, particularly the Innocence card, relate to the South. So we are remanifesting. This is basically saying we're wiping this bad habit out and replacing it with this. And that's important. So the evolution, this is a story in motion. That's what the word emotion is. It's energy in motion. It's a compression of the phrase, like Einstein said E equals mc squared. Emotion is energy in motion. So this is a story of the energy in motion that storyteller is gifting us. How do we get out of the blah and into the good stuff? We go back home. We go back to the ancestor teachings. We will find ourselves in a place of innocence and renewal by the summer. We need to do some shamanic work. And we get as if it is the spring. All new beginnings. They're still telling me, end of the summer, we will be out of the forces of this pandemic. So I still haven't spoken about what the shamanic cards have to say. We have feast and plenty, choices and consequences. If I go to the feast table and I drink too much and I cause a fight, I've gone out of balance. We have choices and the consequence. But you'll see that this is a great big moon here. And this moon is filled with all the elements, earth, air, fire, water, and cutting clean. So we have an opportunity here to access a whole new feast where we make choices. We are being guided from the shaman that there is a benefactor here. We may not ever know who that benefactor is. Spirit, Creator, God, Gichimunido, Wankantanka, the Great Mystery, whatever you call it, that can be our benefactor. It may be a benefactor unseen. It could be somebody in this dimension. We also get the assistance from a stranger. And the stranger brings us the aspect of curiosity. Curiosity that we can be open and not go into the polar us and them. And when we are open, we will receive from those we don't know. So the fact that the benefactor card and a stranger are side by side tells me very much that there's a possibility that we'll receive from somebody we don't even know. And the final thing is the unmarked trail. Revelation. It is what it is, and you have options here. It's about going the distance, not looking for the end. We need to make a step forward on an unmarked trail. What is this unmarked trail? Again, Spirit is telling me that it is the new paradigm, what we are becoming in this time after the pandemic, the new world order, so to speak. It's a glorious thing. So we need to be focused on possibilities, all kinds of possibilities. And that's a good thing. So I often get messages asking me what crystals we need to bring in for this time. And so we need a couple of very grounding things. If you have a fossil in your collection of crystals, fossil is ancient. It's the ancestors that are being spoken of here. So get yourself a fossil. Pearl. Pearl is from the inside of an oyster. It is everything that irritated that pearl. The sand grits, the bits of flotsam that get inside the shell as it breathes and opens its shell. What does it do with it? It smooths it over and turns it from an irritant into something beautiful. That's what Spirit is asking us for. So fossils and pearls. You want grounding stones like shungite, obsidian, garnet, ruby, and you can get those in raw form very inexpensively. But you also need some to do with creating, because the thing that I haven't mentioned is that at the full moon in 2 weeks, on May 26th, we have a penumbral lunar eclipse, and it's a super full moon. So by a super full moon, it means it is a full moon in perigee. The moon is once again as close to the earth as it can possibly be, and we have a lunar eclipse. I often say we can be like that Australian surfer off the coast. We see a big wave coming and we have a choice. If we pay attention and we're focused, we can grab that wave and ride it all the way into shore, hanging 10 perfectly. But if we're not focused and we're sloppy, we get up on that wave and we're falling. We fall off the wave, and that great white shark is waiting underneath to bite us in the arse. You got to be the surfer who's focused, okay? So, much blessings to you on this new moon. It is very much a time of shamanic journey. Feel free to leave comments, ask your questions, send us an email. Brian always puts that in. He's updated the marketplace. He's changing up. We're going to be doing very soon doing these new tarot videos. We're just trying to get the equipment in place. So hit the like button. That really helps us. It helps us with Google Analytics and some other ways that I don't know about. I'm not tech savvy. I'm spirit savvy, but not tech savvy. Hit the like button, subscribe. That really helps. And if you feel like supporting this venture to keep us moving forward, we appreciate that. And there's a PayPal button somewhere, I think, on the website. So, miigwech, nyawen, be safe, be well, and be focused. Love ya.